Hello, welcome to this brand new video. Um, Today I want to talk about the law, legalities, legislation, crimes, punishment, and the like. And after we are done talking about the law, I want to talk about um, morality, what it is, what its point, and more importantly, where does it come from? So the law, what is the law? It's a set of rules that societies agree upon in order to make coexistence possible. Well, it's not just a set of rules, it is a set of rules that comes with punishment for not following them. And the overall intention or goal of any law is to prevent, to deter people from committing crimes. So you set up a law, a rule of a social law, a social rule that will help people live together without too much friction. And then you hope and you set up punishment for people who break the law. And I've always asked myself, why is there no reward for people who abide by the law? I mean, they punish lawbreakers, but they don't reward law followers. Imagine a world where you would be rewarded simply by following the law. Like, if you break the law, you are punished, but if you follow the law, you are rewarded. What is the reward for following the law? Well, um, the reward for following the law is freedom. so, so most of the time, when you break the law, uh, you are deprived of a certain amount of freedom. Not directly sometimes. Let's say you had money in the account that was allowing you to do a bunch of things, and the lawgiver can take away some of your money in not so bad cases of law breaking to deprive you of a certain amount of freedom. So the reward for following the law basically is freedom. That is the only reward. So the way the society works is, for people who follow the law, to a certain extent, they are given the freedom to pursue happiness and whatever goal they have. So the goal, the reward for being a good citizen, so to speak, is you are allowed to freely operate within the jurisdiction of said law. Okay, and for the other part, the punishment, once the law has been broken and certain amount of freedom is taken away. So it's always in regard to the freedom that the law is enacted, whether it's a reward, you are free. If you follow the law, you'll be free. And if you don't follow the law, a certain level of freedom will be restricted for you. Okay, let's keep that in mind, that the purpose of the law, ultimately, the purpose of either following the law or breaking the law, is the ultimate goal is the ability to maintain or lose freedom. Okay, so uh, why is it necessary to have a law? Laws by nature are a pressure that is applied on the members of a system, of a group, to get them to conform to to what is beneficial to said group. So it is an external pressure that is applied on you. Okay, it can be cultural, it can be mm, economical, but it is a set of pressure, right? It is pressure, external pressure applied on individuals to get them to comply. Is it necessary? Absolutely. Because as much as people don't like having pressure exerted upon them, there is cases where you absolutely need to apply pressure, especially for people who don't have internal regulations. What are you going to say? Like psychopaths should be just let loose? No. The psychopath by nature, it's a disease of the mind, but a psychopath doesn't have internal regulation. That means he doesn't have like consciousness. The only way to get a psychopath to behave is to exert external pressure on them. So what are you gonna have? You can't have a lawless country, because then the people, certain people in that country are going to destroy the system. Basically, the system is going to self-destruct or be destroyed if you just live in a place that is lawless, that everybody does whatever they want. All right, so now that we have established that laws exist to laws exist to basically advance the interest of a group or a system of any kind, let's now decide what is the meaning of freedom, and how can you get free from the law? Because laws are external pressure, and as long as there is external pressure on you, you are not free. If there is a need to exert pressure on you for whatever reason, you can never claim to be free. And no matter how good the intentions of a law are, they cannot cover everything. That there is boundaries, there is limits, there is element of our lives that the law have hard time regulating. And for those elements, there is another set of law that goes beyond the laws of the city, of the citizens, of the country, of the land. And those laws are called like the moral laws. Okay, the moral laws. Like, let's say for example, in many countries, what makes it illegal to, let's say, uh, not be a good father? Is it illegal to not play with your kids? Is it? No, it's not. So why do you have to do it? There's real consequences if you don't give time to your family, let's say. It is a moral issue. It's no longer a legal issue. You are beyond the legal issue. You cannot force a father to be nice to his children. You can prevent him from abusing them, but not abusing is not enough for the development of a child, let's say. You gotta be playful, you gotta be kind, you gotta give advice, you got to show affection. Those are elements of life that are extremely important, but that are not illegal. You see? But if you don't do it, if you are not a good father to your kids, that is not illegal, but it is immoral. So we know that the laws of the land, the laws of the city, even the laws of nature are, we know their source. If it is legalities, it comes from the government, let's say. If it is natural laws, it comes from physical nature. But where do the moral laws come from? There is no law that forces you to be charitable. You are not forced to help that poor person across the street. But if you can and you don't, what law are you breaking? You are breaking no law except one: the law of morality, the moral law. So we accept that there is a moral law because whether or not you want it, there is some people to whom you give advantages, let's say benefits, that you are not forced to do so. You do it because you want to, because it is written inside you, it is in your heart, in your blood. So whenever you are being charitable to, let's say, a poor person, there's no government or nature that is there telling you to be nice. It comes from within you. And where does that law that is written within your heart, where does it come from? Where does the law that tells you to be a good husband come from? Where does the law that tells you to be a good brother comes from? Where does the law that tells you to be to sacrifice yourself, to be selfless. Where does that law come from? Where does the law that says that drives a soldier to die for his country come from? There is nobody forces you not to be a coward on the battlefield, but even if the country can get you to war, it cannot force you to be a brave soldier. It cannot force you to care for the wounded under the fire. Those are laws that come from morality. They are moral laws. The laws that prevent you from running away in battle, it's a moral law. You can be put into a truck and forced to go to war, but nothing can force you to be a good soldier. So who is the moral law giver, so to speak? I'll tell you something. There is no evidence whatsoever that moral laws emanate from the natural world. To put it simply, there is no natural system where we can point to and say this is the source of the moral law, especially not nature, the genes. Because genetics and biology, let's say, it's all about self-preservation, all right? You're gonna tell me when you're being nice to your kid, you're actually being nice to you. No. Genetics, by definition, is the preservation of the selfish gene. So it's not from biology that the moral law emanates, especially that the moral law goes even far beyond. It's not just about being nice to your kids. It's also about being nice to the neighbor's kids. It's also about being nice to a kid, your enemy's kids. You see, the moral law will command you to be nice to the kids even of your enemies. And if not, biology cannot help you do that. You see how these animals behave. Let's say like there is a conflict, family conflict, let's say in a lion pride. What happens when the conqueror, what does the conqueror animal does to the kids of his opponent? He butchers them. He kills them. He does not like adopt them. All right? So moral laws do not emanate from the natural world. Period. They do not emanate from the natural world. So where do they emanate from? I'll tell you where they emanate from. They emanate from, because every law must ultimately be